Nitish Sada and Harshbinani, SmartWorks began with a vision to disrupt the traditional work culture in India by focusing on design, hospitality, technology and customer experience. With their given knowledge and expertise, Nitish and Harsh have played a significant role in building SmartWorks from scratch. The duo have redefined the aspects of modern-day office culture with their innovative business solutions, helping SmartWorks live up to its motto, workplaces that work for you. And now we're at the SmartWorks office in Bengaluru, and I have with me the founder and co-founder of SmartWorks, Nitish Sada and Harshbinani. Welcome, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to have you with us in the show today.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So let me begin by asking you, Nitish, you come from an entrepreneurial family and you have a prior experience in the job market. What really inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
What really inspired me to do SmartWorks was that commercial real estate in India has been very similar, right? It hasn't changed in the last hundreds of years, and we wanted to do something different. The reason behind we started SmartWorks was because we wanted to create an office experience company. If you look at commercial real estate, it is just about providing the space, but we didn't want to create a company like that. We wanted to create a product which takes care of your entire office experience, right from where your building is, how you're coming into the offices, how is the design of the offices done, how are we taking care of your day-to-day requirement in the offices, whether it's tea, coffee, your food, your gyms, creches, all the facilities that you require on a daily basis. So we thought that there's an opportunity for us to get into the entire services package with the real estate, which really adds value to how commercial real estate was perceived. So
now Harsh, you joined SmartWorks in 2017, and prior to this you were working with McKinsey. When did you realize that being an entrepreneur is your calling?
So that's a very interesting question. For me, again, like hailing from an entrepreneurial family, being a Marwadi in the genes, being an entrepreneur was always on the card. It was just a question of when. And for me, I'd spent most of my professional life in US, and just given the immense opportunities in India, and post my business school, for me it was a very, very easy decision. Essentially the work that Nitish was doing was phenomenal, gaining a lot of traction, and the entire opportunity was quite exciting for me to just take the plunge, and it's been quite a fulfilling journey so far.
Nitish, SmartWorks was founded in 2016 with an aim to disrupt the traditional office workspace culture. So how did you come up with the idea of creating a firm on the concept of co-working space?
We like to call ourselves as an office experience company. We take up certain parts of co-working which people nowadays like, and we take up certain parts of traditional real estate, and we've created a version which is for us the best of both worlds. So basically, if you look at commercial real estate, it's been similar for hundreds of years, right? People have been building buildings, people have been taking up based on per square footage, and then everything inside the office they maintain on their own. We wanted to do something different. We wanted to make sure that we manage the entire experience for our members and for their employees.
So 3 years in the business, how has the journey been so far?
It's been great. So in a very short span of 3 years, we've grown to almost 23 to 24 centers spread across 9 cities, essentially covering all parts of India, and the entire experience has been great. We've learned a lot, we've come a long way. We cater to almost 350 clients now, so it's been a great journey.
So SmartWorks has achieved a few significant milestones in the last 3 years, and one of them being recognized as the fastest homegrown bootstrapped Indian managed space provider. What really helped you gain this position in the market?
So I think while being entrepreneurs, we've actually focused a lot on growing this business while keeping the bottom line also in check, right? Well, most obviously startup ecosystems in India, people tend to look at the business or look at it as a tech opportunity for it to grow in valuation. But for us, valuation is driven through your bottom line, not just your top line. So we've been very focused on being profitable. In a very short span, and within our second year itself, we turned to be profitable by the mid-second year. And I think that is what's really helped us to bootstrap this and grow. While we've bootstrapped it, we are the largest homegrown co-working player in India. So we've grown a significant amount, but that's only because we've always focused on our bottom line, and on how to make this business a profitable, scalable business, not just a scalable business.
So Harsh, as a company which has been there in the workspace market for 3 years, what differentiates you from other players?
So SmartWorks, when it started its journey, obviously, the entire co-working space market was evolving. Globally, it was known largely to house a lot of startups and freelancers. But very quickly, we made a dramatic pivot in the market, gaining the unique distinction of being the largest workspace provider for large Fortune 500 companies, global MNCs and Indian enterprises. So from a strategic point of view, our focus on taking really large centers, which otherwise for a typical co-working space is 30,000 square foot.
Right.
Sample this, today you are at a center of SmartWorks which is close to about 3 lakh square foot, almost 10 times bigger than the average co-working space take up. A typical client of a co-working space is about 25 to 30 seats. For us, that number is close to about 250 to 300.
Right.
So it was almost for us changing the rules of co-working upside down completely and getting it to be completely customized to the Indian requirements. Because for us, we realized that if we have to really make this a large outcome, and again in India you have more than 400 co-working space players, and being among the top 2 requires a fair amount of distinction in terms of both strategy and product. For us, like a combination of the customer profile, the type of space we take up and the type of services we provide, all of these have really helped us distinguish a space in the market for ourselves.
And today companies are opting for modern, innovative and flexible collaborative workspaces. What do you think has really led to this change in mindset of people?
So the entire mindset of India is fairly, I would say, unique compared to how we see the rest of the markets, which might be fairly homogeneous.
Right.
India is, again, like across the 9 cities that we are present in, each city is unique by itself. A Mumbai is very different to a Pune.
Right.
But at the heart of it, what we realize is that the Indians have global aspirations in mind, but they're still fairly Indian at heart in terms of some of the sensibilities that they've developed. So sample this, right? Like the product, as you mentioned, has to be very modern, aesthetic looking.
Right.
You cannot compromise on a well-functional office, and we've done a lot of innovation in the last 3 years to get a lot of R&D, particularly in terms of designing offices. So one of the concepts that really worked for us is the entire concept of biophilic architecture, right, where you're using a lot of elements of nature to make the office very different compared to the conventional.
Right.
But I think for us, what's really also been game-changing is not only getting a well-functional office, but really tailor-making it to the requirements of that particular brand, whether it's Microsoft, Amazon, Hitachi. We're very humbled by having a lot of these large brands with us and really making them feel like this is their own office and draping that with a lot of services.
In the span of 3 years, SmartWorks has become a leading player for large enterprises. What is your client portfolio like, and what is the average space you lease out to an enterprise?
For us, really the secret mantra, as Nitish was pointing out earlier, is really in creating a bespoke functional office for the enterprise which they can call their office, and adding all the services that they require, which are completely tailor-made for them. And essentially in terms of our portfolio today, we are very humbled that we have clients like Microsoft, Amazon, Tata, Jaguar, Hitachi, Daikin, and it gives us a lot of satisfaction that until 3 years back, they wouldn't have even thought about moving to a concept like this. They were very happy being in conventional office spaces, and we really disrupted the market by creating a product which has been adopted by them. And today, largely as we have more and more conversations across the cities, we have all the leading brands of those cities coming to us. And in terms of just the diverse spread that we have, while we have a fair amount of ITS companies,
right,
we've consciously also taken efforts to bring a lot of other diversified conglomerates like manufacturing, BFSI, automobiles, and that number continues growing. And today the SmartWorks family is more than 350 plus clients with more than 35,000 members, and we are just ready to go and get more.
How do you incorporate your best practices when retrofitting an existing space?
So I think we've gotten sort of a design which is something that we replicate everywhere,
right,
which are some of the facilities, the common facilities that we get in. So that's the most important thing, because we want to make sure that your experience with common facilities are similar across. I think that's where we focus most of our attention. For the clients, we bespoke it to their requirements. It's completely tailor-made to their requirements. So we tend to take a lot of inputs from them, understand what they want, and try to create the best version of what they would want their office to look like.
So shared workspaces is a relatively new concept in India. Did you have to tweak the concept for India, and create a made-in-India version of shared workspaces?
Sure. So I think, obviously there were certain elements that needed to be tailor-made to Indian mindset. Right. I think obviously there is a lot of learning that both of us have had with our experiences abroad, whether it is visiting the campuses of companies like Google, LinkedIn. We've seen that the environment or the vibe that they created in these offices were very different. People used to feel, very happy to go to their offices and really enjoyed that. We wanted to do the same thing in India, right? And when we came back, we understood that obviously a lot of those things might not be possible to replicate here, but there are certain basic things that everyone in our day-to-day life needs now. How can we take up all those services and make sure that it caters to some of the most important Indian mindset requirements?
All right. On that note, we'll take a short break, but don't go anywhere as the conversation with the founder and co-founder of SmartWorks continues on the other side. Stay tuned. From an enterprise to an established startup, SmartWorks offers a holistic experience to its customers by offering cost-effective solutions and a technology-driven environment catering to the changing business dynamics. The brand caters to more than 500 trusted global enterprises and established startups. It has grown its footprint from 9,800 square feet to more than 2 million square feet with its presence in leading cities. SmartWorks is the market leader in the country for large enterprises with a bespoke tech and productivity-enabled value proposition. Welcome back. You're watching Inspirational Brands Make in India, and I'm in conversation with the founder and co-founder of SmartWorks. Let's talk about technology now. So your vision is to create workspaces for the future. How are you leveraging technology and innovation to achieve this goal?
For us, technology, we look at it in two parts, right? The first part is how can we use technology to get the clients on board. For example, some of the things that we're working on currently is a VR technology, right? Since we make tailor-made offices, it's very important for us to show our clients how their space is going to eventually look. So we're working on a VR technology in which we'll create a 3D model of the space and a walkthrough for you. Using that VR, you can actually see how your space is going to look. You can do real-time changes on that space. You can actually get a better feel of how eventually your office is going to turn out to be. Similarly, we're using other technologies to help us, get whether it is the designing bit in which we're using more technology to standardize those processes, or it is our building out of the buildings in which we're leveraging a lot of technology to help the process smoothen out.
Technology, again, as Nitish was pointing out, has been a very critical backbone of SmartWorks, and especially if I look at the last 3 years, we've scaled up very rapidly using technology not only to make our internal processes more efficient, but on the customer facing side we've done a fair amount of R&D in technology. We're investing very heavily in making our buildings smart. The air conditioners here are not only energy efficient but can be completely personalized in a radius of 250 square feet of investment that we are particularly very excited about as we shape our technology journey. We are in fact the first co-working space globally which has actually got a humanoid to interact directly with the members. It's obviously much more evolved than just the human, because it also stores a lot of data, remembers a lot of names, gives you an opportunity to talk to whenever you're in distress, etc. So there's a lot of exciting things that we are sort of spending actively some time on, and we again think it's a journey because given how technology is evolving, there's a lot that will also come up in the next few years. Now
your client renewal rates are as high as 90 to 95%. How do you ensure customer experience and member happiness?
It is very clear to us that customer comes first. We are in the business because of our customers, and they have made a big risk by moving from a conventional office space to a setup like this. So in case they do not feel happy here, there is something that we've done as disservice to them. And here, particularly with regards to the customer service, really the vision that we together have been sort of panning out is that what can we do to create that niche hospitality experience within SmartWorks, where not only are your services services and your day-to-day needs taken care of, but consciously we are investing a lot on value-added stuff to make you feel happy and productive. So our in-house ticketing system, literally any service-related issue that you will have, once you raise a ticket, within 30 minutes we have an update for you.
Right.
Whether it's your internet that's not working, whether it's your AC that's not malfunctioning, we are consciously trying to make sure that we are constantly evolving ourselves.
And which is why I believe SmartWorks recently made it to LinkedIn's top startups to work list. Tell us more about your company culture and what do you look for in potential hires?
So LinkedIn's recognition for us was a very humbling moment.
Right.
And for me, I want to call out the contribution of all the 250 plus strong smart workers. Without them, we wouldn't have been here. And frankly, each smart worker, and again, we are a very young population, as you would notice, both of us have a distinct preference to essentially get a lot of blend of experience, but also a lot of young talent.
Right.
So really our culture has been a culture where we've really fostered a lot of innovation and entrepreneurial spirit, in each smart worker. Our mandate really is not that you come with a lot of deep expertise in your space, because frankly co-working till last few years didn't even exist. So there isn't a lot of ready-made talent from the industry. We've got a mix and match of a lot of young people from different diverse backgrounds.
Right.
But really where we have focused a lot of our energy is how can we let you be an entrepreneur within SmartWorks? How can we promote more independent thinking?
Before I let you go, what are your future plans for the company in terms of expansion plans, in terms of acquisitions, mergers? What's the road ahead for you?
So I think opportunity in India is huge, right? We look at India is more than a 650 million square foot office market. We are just 2.8 million in 3 years. I think what smaller targets for us is essentially to get to about 4 to 5 million square foot by the end of this year, and then scale up to anywhere between 20 to 25 million square foot in the next 4 to 5 years.
Right.
Because we see that the opportunity in India, specifically in these 9 cities where we are in, is obviously huge, but there's also an opportunity to enter into tier 2 cities. So we will look at entering into cities like Bhubaneswar, Chandigarh, Ahmedabad, Coimbatore with smaller centers. They might not be the 300,000 square foot centers, but 20, 25, 30,000 square foot centers. Also, if there is an opportunity in which we can scale by acquiring someone, if there is some like-mindedness there, we will look at exploring those options as well.
Right. Thank you so much, Nitish and Harsh, for speaking to us today. We wish you all the best for your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Well, that's a wrap on this episode of Inspirational Brands Make in India. But we'll be back next time with yet another inspiring tale of business success. Until then, goodbye and thanks for watching.